what's the rest? Not pruning, but what's the opposite of pruning, when you add something to a flower as opposed to taking it away? But he does that.
Grafting?
Yes, grafting.
Grafting.
Thank you. And he spends most of his time in Australia. But I know his son. Unfortunately, I've never met Tom, but apparently Tom is absolutely mad. And I will tell you this story, and it is absolutely true, about Tom Baker. You probably know that he actually, at one time, was considering going into the church and joining a monastery. And he
was in a monastery.
And do you know why he came out? Because when he went into the confession box one day, he actually, being true to his oath or duty to confess his sins, he actually told the priest that he had tried to poison everyone by putting cyanide in their porridge in the morning, and he was subsequently thrown out of the monastery. And you may laugh, that is an absolutely true story, I swear. And the bloke is, you need to act. I mean, that is what he's like. He is mad as a fucking hatter. His son's relatively sane.
Oh no, but that's what makes him so awesome, though, is that he's so, like, you know, out there, and he seems like somebody who's actually an alien, so he doesn't have to go out of his way to you know, to act unearthly. He just sort of is on his own. But no, I've heard on YouTube. There's some great interviews with him. He has a great voice. He's a great storyteller.
Oh, his voice is wonderful, and his son has a very, very similar voice. But can I just see that picture again? Because I think he's one of the few people who you can actually see the entirety of his iris in his eye, and it's kind of spooky. Yeah, do you see what I mean? Normally, you'll well, give me a bit of paper.
Yeah, no, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, he's a very wide eye.
Yeah, normally you'll get an eye.
But anyway, I was going to say that Robert Oppenheimer tried to poison his, like,
you'll get an eye like
advisor or something like that.
That, and Tom Baker has an eye like that one. You very rarely get people where you can see the entire iris. You'll normally get that. I was just curious to see that photograph actually confirms what I was saying. And it does give that manic appearance.
Yeah, no, he's definitely my favorite doctor, but John Pertwee was great too.
He was the first, wasn't? Oh no, he wasn't the first.
William Hartnell was the first, then it was Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee, Tom Baker.
Yeah, what I could never understand is why my father really enjoyed watching it, because we weren't really allowed to watch television when we were growing up. We were sort of like rushed into half an hour or an hour a day or something. But my father really enjoyed watching Doctor Who, and I couldn't understand why, because I was prepubescent. And looking back on them, I now understand why, because the Doctor's assistant was always remarkably scantily clad and pretty feisty, and I can now see why my father was allowed us to watch that one programme. He was a dirty little fucker who was obviously mentally fapping, if not physically, to the Doctor's assistant.
Yeah, that's like Perry, who was with the 5th and 6th Doctor. Boy, was she annoying, but she had a great pair, you know, I mean...
Oh, right. So, come on. 2 and a bit hours to go. Oh my lordy. Right. This is going to be hard work. Give me some positive news. 31,500. That's good news. Thunder, what are you doing back in here? You were pissed as a fart a couple of hours ago. You must have fallen asleep. Have you woken up and started flowing red wine down your neck again?
Be awesome to see Thunderfoot drunk. It's like, here's what people on YouTube are really like.
Do you want to co-host for a few minutes, Thunder, just so we can all see you pissed?
Have I ever been skiing near Lowell Hill and skiing?
Yeah, you might well be able to sit on a chair, but can you
skiing.
press the right button to co-host so we can? Oh my good God, a naked Thunderfoot, that really would that would be great footage for YouTube, wouldn't it? Are you going to actually put on some clothes, or shall we? I don't know how many pairs you've seen tonight, Thunder.
That's the only reason he's here, isn't it? He doesn't care about doctors about before.
He just wants the tits. I thought I was. To be fair, I thought I was relatively restrained. You got one arse and one pair of tits for a few seconds, and okay, I'll probably get banned from YouTube. In fact, why did you try and get him drunk? Were you trying to seduce him?
Fact, are you a Thunderfoot groupie, Fact?
No fact at all. How much did you try Rohypnol? It always works for me.
I think my favorite Zelda game is Zelda Ocarina of Time. Somebody asking that. Show up with somebody asking me. Somebody was asking to see the moves.
It seems like about 7 weeks ago, but I'm sure that Happy Cabby got his man boobs out earlier on in the course of this program.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's all sorts of messages coming in the bill.
My moves aren't that impressive, so.
Who can I get off? I don't know what you want to write. I can go. What do you want?
They're asking about Star Trek.
Good night,
I think
succulent. Thank you.
Sniffed.
Sorry, go on.
I think that given from my questions about Heroes and Doctor Who, they figured out that I'm an uber geek, so the next logical progression is to ask me about Star Trek, which I have to say that Next Generation is my favorite series, and my favorite movie would probably be First Contact.
Sorry, I'm just, you see, this is the problem. It appears as if I'm being really rude to you, because I'm not paying attention. I'm trying to, but I'm also trying to deal with messages, and my mind is beginning to close down.
You can't handle more than two things at once, sober and awake, so it's alright.
Exactly.
Lost is a good show. I like Lost.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to ask you, as a lawyer, how much do you work, like a 40-hour week, or I mean, how, I don't want to say how difficult, but how time-consuming is being a lawyer? Because I thought about, looking into law school, but then my former apartment, my landlord was a lawyer, and he had his office downstairs, and it seemed like he was there like all hours of the day, and I don't know if he just like didn't want to go home or what, or he just worked his ass off or what it was, but that sort of turned me off a bit and looking into law school.
The position is, if we have a somewhat slightly different legal system to you. The most significant difference is, I think, that you have a sort of DA's department and public defenders. In this country, you don't. let's start with criminal law, which is but apart from that,
everybody wears wigs. I know.
Everyone knows about criminal law. We'll leave civil law aside for the time being. Barristers do both. Now you might get a reputation for doing more prosecution work than defending or whatever, but we have what they call the cab rank rule, which means that if you are competent enough to do the case, unless you're professionally embarrassed, you're obliged to do it, which means that technically you don't really have much choice in whether you're defending, prosecuting, whatever. As it happens, it's actually a benefit because if